Hey guys, this is Diane here from the Design Creative, and today I'm going to show you how to create a 5-page site using Beaver Builder and Headway. Now, before you start running after me with pitchforks and guns blazing, let me tell you that I will be creating a tutorial on how to use Divi and Headway, but because of the high demand of requests about this particular plugin, I just thought it would be best that I satisfy the needs of the masses first. Now, a little disclaimer: if you are already a user of Beaver Builder and you use the theme, you may wonder why I would use Headway instead of the Beaver Builder theme. Well, I own both, and I found that Headway gives me much more control over the blog layout, my headers, my footers, and custom post types than the actual BB theme. Hence the reason why this tutorial is geared towards people who use Headway, though you can follow along to this tutorial even if you don't use Headway. Other themes I would recommend using is the free lightweight theme Generate Press, which I found out about last week, and within 15 minutes bought all of the add-ons. This theme is like a little diamond in the rough and is actually a whole tutorial by itself. It's super fast and it works well with BB if you have a boxed layout. Not so much a full width layout, but there is a tiny one-line piece of code that you can add to the theme to fix that. So anyway, today's tutorial is all about making a website using Headway and Beaver Builder. Let me show you my setup. First, I have all my relevant pages and posts, which are all just dummy content, which I generated with FakerPress, which is a plugin you can download from WordPress. Next, I have added my custom post type, which is projects, and I used my custom post type UI plugin, which again you can download from the WordPress repository. And in there, I have about 5 projects which we are going to be customizing later without using any custom fields or anything. We're going to be using a clone and copy feature in the Beaver Builder plugin. So let's go into Headway. Here you can see I have 3 wrappers: a header, a footer, and a content wrapper. In this content wrapper, you can see it's full width. And if we look at the options, you would see that I have my titles clicked off, my archive title linked off. Here where it says show older, newer posts, we have those clicked off. The featured image is also clicked off as well. So if we press save and view this website in the front, you can see there isn't really much to it as of yet, but don't worry, because we are going to be adding some great stuff using the Beaver Builder. Just a reminder for those designers who want to join in the conversation, you can head over to Headway Theme Users over at Facebook, where you will see my private Facebook group. That's right. I will personally add you, so make sure you head over if you have a Facebook profile. We post things like favorite plugins, links, hosting places, etc., etc. It's great banter over there, and we all help each other out. We're under 400 members at the moment. I'm not trying to be the biggest Headway forum out here, but it would be good if you do sign up and just mingle in with the rest of us and, you know, give us some tips if you've got any, or just join in the conversation. The link is below in the description box. So let's get back to the tutorial. Assuming that you already have the BB plugin installed, let's look at its options by heading over to Settings and Page Builder. As you can see, it's loading. Here we go. As you can see, BB has its own set of settings which we can tweak depending on your design. So here in modules, you can set which modules you want to keep or not. So for this website, I'm probably not going to use the pricing table or the number counter, as I find them quite cheesy, but it's totally up to you what you want to check and uncheck. In the post type section, you can choose whether BB can be used on any of these. So you can use them on posts, pages, and projects. I'm going to activate this for projects. We can also use custom icons, which we can generate ourselves using Icomoon or Fontello, or we can basically use the standard icons which come with Beaver Builder. Now let's head over to the Beaver Builder theme Beaver Builder area to see how it actually works. And how we can do that is by clicking on Visit Site, by going to the front page of the site. And here you can see in the toolbar, we now have another icon called Page Builder. Okay, so we can get to it via this way, or if you're in the dashboard, you can get to it by clicking on this tab and launching the Page Builder from there. So once you've launched it, you have this little tool guide that says,
hello, this is the first time you've been here. Let me take your coat, show you around.
And you're just going to be rude and say, no thanks, not interested. Okay, so as you can see, when we log in, the setup kind of looks very familiar to Headway, where we have the toolbar on the top and we have this kind of column down here which allows us to select the different modules that we need for our site. Now, if you look at Headway, it's practically the same. We have our toolbar up here and we have our column down here which we can use to customize different areas of the site. So let's go back into Beaver Builder. Here we have a standard text box which has some dummy text in there. Now I can just delete this text box here. I can edit column, I can duplicate, there's some options here, but we'll go over that a bit later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this column. And what you're stuck with is what we call a row. Now a row, the best way to think about a row is to think about it like a wrapper. So let's go back into Headway and click into the grid editor, and you can see how we've got a wrapper here, and we can choose whether this wrapper is fluid or we can choose whether the wrapper is fixed. Okay. And we can also choose whether the content within it is going to be fluid or whether it's going to be fixed. That's exactly the same thing that rows do. So here I've got a row, and say if I want to add something like a full width slider or something, right? So in order for me to do that, I can click on here where it says row settings, and I can choose the width and the height of this wrapper. So where it says fixed, I'm going to change that to full width. And where it says content width, I'm also going to change that to full width as well. The one amazing thing that I like about this that unfortunately Headway doesn't have is the ability to have the height of the wrapper 100% the width of your browser screen. So what you can do is click where it says height and make this a full height. So I can now have a full height screen if I want to, but I don't want this right now with this design, so I'm just going to click that to default. Now within these row settings you have things like text color, link color, you can change the background of it. So here I can have it could just be a normal color, or I can have a photo or a video or a slideshow or a parallax background. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of options that we could use just for this wrapper alone. I bet already I can hear your brain ticking, oh my god, I could do this, I could do that. You see, just on this feature alone. Okay, and the great thing about rows is that you can add other rows within it. Okay, so we've got our main row here. And let's say that we want to add a slider within this row. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use a background. I'm actually going to use the slider module. So I'm going to click on advanced, because what it does as well is it adds padding to the row. So a bit like with Headway where it adds the 15 pixel padding on every wrapper, it also does that here. So I'm going to get rid of this padding so I can basically make everything kind of full width. I'm going to press save. And now I'm going to press here where it says add content. And here is where this bar kind of slides in and out, and you can click this X here to kind of let it go away and then click it back to make it come back. So here we have different modules that we could use. So let me just, we've really got a another kind of row in the middle of this. You could tell because we've got this row on the outside, and then we've got this row here on the inside. That has also another spanner within it, okay? So I'm going to click on Advanced Modules, and I'm going to go down to where it says Content Slider, and I'm going to drag that out here. Now, as you can see, the content slider is already obeying the rule, which is the height 400. If I change this height 100, you could see that it automatically changes. So this is one of the great things about Beaver, is that you could see your changes as soon as you make them. Okay, so let's change that back to 400. I can choose all these different settings here. I'm just going to click on Slides, and I'm going to click on Edit Slide. And from here, I can choose whether it will be a video, a photo, a color. You might be thinking, why would it be a color? Why would anybody have a color for a background? Well, you might want a color if you're adding just text. Okay, so let's try that now. So I'm going to have a background color of, let's say, black. And I'm going to have, it's got text, photo, text and video, or none. I'm just going to choose text. I'm going to say, hey, this, oops, I can't spell. There we go. And I'm going to press save. Oops, I need to name it up here. So I'm going to call this I can't spell. Really, it's I can't type. Okay, and as you can see here, we have our slider. See how it's moving? Cool. So let me press edit slide, because there's a whole bunch of other stuff we can add here. So I'm just going to get some dummy text. Let's click here and grab. This isn't part of Page Builder, by the way. This is just a Chrome add-on. So if you're trying to look for this in BB, it's not going to work. Let me just press save and see what that looks like. We've got our content here. Let me edit this. So here is our content, okay, and I can click here. As you can see, it's got different tabs here, because these are the different options that we can use for our slider. So I can click here where it says style, and here it says, do you want it to be a H2 tag and blah, 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 blah. And then you can customize the size and everything from here. You can customize the text position. So if I want it to be centered, instead of justified to the left, then you can do that. You can also specify the width of the text position, the colors. There's also a call to action. So if I want to link it to a web page or maybe another page on the site, I can do that, and I can choose whether it will be a link or whether it would just be a button. Okay, so I can choose a button. I can say click here, and I can even add an icon to this button. Remember, I said that there's different icons that you could use, so you can upload them here. I'm going to choose this button, and you can choose whether it's going to go before or after. I'm going to click after. You can choose the colors. And the really great thing I like about this is that you can save the colors. So if I want to use this color over and over again, I can click here to save the color. And here we've got our background hover colors, blah, 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 blah. We've got different styles for the buttons, and we can customize the size of the button, the padding and everything. And we've also got another tab up here for mobile, so we can change what this actually looks like on mobile. So I'm just going to press save for now. And if I just bring this box down, you can now see we have a button here with some text. Okay, that's super cool. Now, if I want to make another slider, I can do by clicking this button to copy the settings of this one. If I want to make another wrapper or another slider which is similar to this one, but maybe with a different color background, I can do that. I'm going to add a just a normal picture slider this time. So I'm going to edit this slide, and I'm going to select a photo from the library. Let's go for this one, and I'm going to press select photo. I'm just going to leave everything how it is and just press save. Oops, I need to put in here. I'm just going to call this photo for now, and I'm going to press save. And now when this moves, you should see the photo, and it should stick to the 400 size that I've got on there. Let me just pull this up for a second. Yep, that's pretty much how it fits. So I can mess around with the settings here. Let's see, I've got a maximum content width here. I can get rid of these buttons on the bottom by clicking here. And there we go. But what you will notice is that it isn't actually as full width as we would want it to be. We want this content, this slider to, you know, hit the sides of our browser. So again, what we can do is click on advanced and get rid of some of the padding which is here. And let me press save. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press done here. And I'm going to publish changes. So you can save it to draft, you can discard the changes that you've made, or you can just publish changes and that will make it go live. So once it's done that, it does a quick refresh and now we're back on the home page. Now, what you will notice is that, hold on, we still got this gap here. And the reason why we got this gap is not because of Beaver Builder, but because of the settings in Headway. So what you will notice is that you will have to kind of dip in and out between Headway and the Beaver Builder plugin to mess around with settings so you can get it the right way. So for this wrapper, I would go back into Headway, Visual Editor and Design mode. I'm going to select this wrapper. And I'm going to get rid of all of the padding which is there. So that's gotten rid of it, but then there's this little padding on the top here between the black slider and this part here. What's going on? Again, we have to get rid of all of the styling which is related to that block. Okay, so this is a content block, and this content block has some styling added to it which we didn't even know about because Headway did it automatically for us. So what we can do is right click on page entry container, edit this instance, and you could see automatically this is where all the padding is coming from, and we've got a little bit of margin here as well. So I'm going to press this button in the middle to get rid of all of that. See, that's all gone, and where it's got margins, I'm going to click this button in the middle and then click customize at the bottom, and now that's all gone. Okay, but as you can see, we still have this gap at the bottom, and the reason why is because the whole content block itself has a 10 pixel margin at the bottom too. So we're going to right click, go to where it says parents, go to where it says content, click on that, click on edit this instance, and where it says margin, we're going to get rid of the margin and nothing happens. So let's try to figure out why that didn't happen. Let me see if there's anywhere else that is... okay, so that's where it is. So where it says content, body text for all layouts, we want to get rid of this margin as well. So it's practically 3 places where the content block has got padding and extra margin. You have to basically click through all of them to get rid of that styling, but it's fine because you won't have to do that again. When you go and create another content block, you can literally copy and paste all of the styling of this block onto your next one. So don't worry about it. Just remember that there is about 3 spaces or 3 places where you have to get rid of the styling. So you have to get rid of the styling off the block itself, which is the 10 pixel margin at the bottom, the page entry container, which is the padding and the margin, and you also need to get rid of the body text, which is the margin on the bottom. Okay, so now we've got that, you could see we have our slider that's flushing to the left and the right, and there is nothing on the top or the bottom. Of course, you want to get rid of the margin on the overall wrapper. So what we want to do is click on show all elements, click on structure, click on wrapper, and then click on margins, click on the center here and change that to 0, and all of your margins should be gone. I also want to get rid of the box shadow. So I can click here, or I can click here where it says styles, and I can get rid of the box shadow from here. And then press save. So let's go here, refresh, and there we have our slider. And if we click here, that opens up into a new tab, but my internet's not working because some stupid idiot had drilled a hole through the cable today, and I'm sitting here like I'm back in the 1980s. But anyway, let's go back to the tutorial. So let's try and add some more stuff to this page. I'm going to click on page builder. I'm not going to really focus too much on styling stuff. I'm really just going to show you how you can just basically add stuff. Now with this photo, obviously this photo is not a great photo to use because we're missing half of the content. So what I would say is that if you have Photoshop or Fireworks or Illustrator, or if you are a new convert to Sketch, or you use GIMP or any of these, or if you use Canva, make sure that you edit your image so then you can easily fit it in here. Okay, because this doesn't really do a good job in trying to let you resize it or anything like that, unless you do it within WordPress, but that's another tutorial, which I've already done, by the way, if you check out how to edit your images in Photoshop, in WordPress, I mean. So now what we want to do is we've got our crazy slider. I'm actually going to get rid of this photo image because I don't like it. Or actually, let me see if I can replace it with something that might make a little bit more sense. Let's try this one and see if we can get more of a better picture in there, because otherwise it will just really annoy me and we don't want that. So let me click on edit. I can spell. I can't spell. I obviously can't read either. And let me see what else we can do here. Right, actually, let me not too focus on the slider. Let me just press save and come out. Right, so now I'm going to maybe add a couple of boxes underneath. Let's just say 3 boxes underneath. So I'm going to add press here where it says add content. And here where it says row layout, I can choose how many columns I want. So I can have between 1 to 6 columns, or I can have a left sidebar, right sidebar, and a left and right sidebar, which are pre-made ones. So let's choose, in fact, let me choose 2 columns. Even though I said I'm going to add 3, I'm going to choose 2. And I'm going to make it sure that it's underneath. You see, I can put it inside this row, but I don't want to. I want to put it underneath the row. It's totally up to you how you want to do it, but I'm going to put it underneath. The reason why I want to put it underneath is because I want the content to be centered. If I lifted this up now and put it inside this box, it will be full width. Let me try and do that if I can. Looks like I can't, so let me try it again from here. If I dragged out a 2 column and I threw it in here, you can see now all the boxes are full width. I don't want that. I want it to be totally separate. So here I have my 2 columns. What I really love about Beaver Builder, which I haven't seen in any other builder, is that I can actually drag these columns wherever I want them to go. And you can see they're in percentages here. I can drag them like this. And I can also add, if I decide, okay, I don't want 2, I want 3, I can also change the settings within this column. So I can click, let's see, if I click on row settings, is it this one? Nope. Column settings, here we go. I can insert another column before or another column after. Or I can just reset the column width because I've messed around a bit now. So let me just press reset and it pushes it back to 50%. If I click here again, and insert before column, it will insert another column and automatically generate what size it should be, which is super good and super cool. So I'm going to click now on where it says add content, and click on advanced modules, and I am going to choose the call out. Here we go. I'm going to throw that in there. And the call out is great because it allows us to, it's like a text block, but it's much more advanced than a text block, as we can add things like call to actions and images and buttons and all types of stuff. So here I'm going to put my child is away, because he's at his dad's. My child is away. I'm going to add some dummy text in there. And the style, I can have that centered. Sorry. Let me take out some of that text because it's way too much text in there. That's fine. I can add an image if I want to. So say if I wanted to add this clock image because he's going to be back soon, I can add that. I can choose how to crop it. So if I wanted it square or circle or landscape, I can do that as well. Circle's pretty cool. But I'm not going to use circle. I'm going to use none. Cool. I can use an icon if I don't want to use a photo. And I can select my icon from here. Let's choose this one. It could be left of heading. I don't really like that because that's kind of like, no. Not when I'm talking about my son. It's bad karma. Okay, so my child is away. Peace and quiet is what I got right now. Okay, so I can duplicate this. Duplicate. And I can drag this over here. And I can duplicate this one. And I can drag this over here. Now, say if I want different backgrounds for these columns, okay? In fact, say if I have one column that has double the text in it. Let's press save. And I have all of these in different colors. So let me do that right now. Let me click on this where it says edit column, column settings, and I'm going to make this color, let's just say this kind of weird color. And let's press save. And I'm going to do the same for this one. Column settings. Red, and I'm going to choose this one as well to be a different color. Now the super cool thing about Beaver Builder is that we are able to equalize the heights of our modules. So for instance, if I click on the first module, or in fact any of the modules, and I click column settings, there is an option here for me to equalize the height. So I can press yes. And what will happen now is that it will take the height of the longest module, which is there, which is the middle one. So if I continue to add more content to this one, the other ones just follow suit, which to me is really a great feature to have, and would be a great feature to have in Headway if they had that. But unfortunately they don't, but Beaver Builder does. Okay, we can also do other things with the column settings as well. We can add a custom padding if we need to, a custom margin if we need to. So if we want to add a margin of 10 pixels to the right of this block, we can do, so we can give a little spacing. And do that here. 10 pixels, save. You see, if I want to change the color of this one to a different color, I can click here where it says edit column, and I can change the color of the text to white. Seems like the header just changed. So if the header just changes, we can also change the color of the text by using the in style text there. Now let me press done and let me press publish, because I want to show you another feature of Headway Beaver, Headway Beaver, that's what it should be called, Headway Beaver. Right, so I'm going to show you another feature which is cool within Headway Beaver. Right, let me just come out of here and let me resize this Let me resize this to show you the responsive settings. So obviously Headway is responsive, and here we can you can see that these blocks kind of just, you know, degrade pretty swiftly. But say if I want these two, to sit side to side, and I want this one to just be sitting underneath, like, we can do that quite easily as well within Beaver Builder. So let me click here where it says Beaver Builder or Page Builder, and what we can do again is click on the column settings and click on Advanced. We scroll down and we have responsive layout, and here we could say on the medium device width we want it to still be 50%, and on the small device width we also want this to be 50%. We could save that. I can go over to this one and give it the same options. So I can say custom 50 and 50, and I can keep this one at 100. So let me press done, publish changes. Now when I resize it, you could see that the two blocks are literally side to side. You see? And this one is below. So we can take that out. So that's just another feature that we can update. And the thing is you can also control when the page breaks, okay? You could do that by clicking on Tools, and here where it says Edit Global Settings, you have, if you just scroll down, oops, where are we? If you scroll down, you can set here when the device has its breakpoint. So the medium device breakpoint is at 992 and the small device breakpoint is at 768. Now up here, it gives us the ability to set the content width. So if you're not an 1100 grid person, you're more of a 960 grid person, you can change that from here. Me personally, I prefer 1180. I don't know why I prefer this one, it's just a number that resonates with me, so I'm going to keep it at 1180. Now I'm going to click here where it says save, and my content has automatically adjusted for that. Right, so let's add some other stuff. We can add a basic module here, which could be a text module. We can put that module underneath here, and I can just add some text here. I can center it. And another feature, again, what I like within Beaver Builder is if we click here where it says Advanced, I can add some animation to it. So I can choose to have this fade in at 8 seconds. Okay, so let me press save. Now, I'm not really too keen about it being so close to the boxes. So what I can do is drag this out of this row and put it in its own row. And get rid of that. And this one, I'm not so keen about it being so close to the slider. So I can click here where it says row settings and add some margin on the top. So let's just say a 50 pixel margin for now. So now we've got a little bit of space here. I'm going to add some more content. I'm going to drag out this heading. Okay, this is a heading. Style, centered, it's going to be a H2, and I'm going to, you could choose whichever font you want from here as well, which is cool. And you can also choose what size this heading is going to be when it's on mobile, which is also really cool as well. So I'm happy with how that looks so far. Let me keep that how it is for now, and I'm going to press done, and I'm going to publish my changes. And here's how the website looks so far. As you can see, the text gracefully came in when it was supposed to. Now, what other things can we add? I can go through all of the different modules and say, you know, this is how it should be and blah, 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 blah. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to head over now to, let's say I'm going to head over to the About page. Now, this is what the About page looks like. And you're looking at it thinking, what the heck? This is not cool. Now, the rest of the pages, I don't expect them to have a full width design. So I kind of expect them to be fixed like the rest of the content is here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head back into Headway. And I'm going to click on this drop down and click where it says single. I'm going to customize the current layout, and I'm going to use an empty grid. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this top wrapper fluid. I'm going to open up wrapper options because I want this wrapper to clone the navigation and the header of the home page. So I'm going to click on mirroring and config. And I am going to choose the header. I'm going to add another wrapper here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a content block in here, and I'm going to get rid of all the options actually let me keep the title, but I'm going to get rid of the show older navigation, show single navigation, and I'm going to get rid of the featured image as well. So let me press save. Oops, I forgot to add the footer. We haven't actually done anything with the footer yet, but it really doesn't matter for now. So let me go here and clone that footer. So I'm going to set this, I'm going to call this inner content. That's for the wrapper. I'm going to call the block inner content as well. So let me press save and go back to the About page, click About, and now we have our background. We have our wrapper here. And here, as you can see, it's got the 15 pixel border either end. So we're pretty good to go here. Now, I don't want to have this kind of background. I want it to be white. So I'm going to go into the design grid and I'm going to click structure. Sorry, I'm going to click body and make sure that the background of it is white. And click save. Right, now we're good to go. Now we're good to go. So with the About page, I can click here where it says page builder. And again, I can just add whatever information I need to about this particular page. So if I wanted to have a 2-column layout, and let me just drag this out a little bit, because in this block, I want to add a photo. Let's say I'm going to add a photo of this guy, save. And on this side, I want to add a text editor. Oops. Let me grab some content from here. And I'm going to press save. We've also got some other blocks. If you click on the advanced options, we've got a whole range of different blocks that we can use, from social buttons. We got a subscribe form, which basically connects to things like MailChimp. You can even just let it connect to your email address if you want it to. So I'm going to call this my email address, and I'm going to add my email in there. Press connect, and you can choose whether you want it to be stacked or inline. Inline works for me. You can see it's inline, and you can have a message, or it can redirect to a page if you want it to. So for instance, this block would be great if you have something like a ebook. Say you've got an ebook, but you want to give it away to people who give you their subscription, like give you their email address and their name. You can use this form to redirect to a page which has the ebook on it. And you can, of course, you know, do some things with the URL. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you could do to, you know, make that URL secure, but you can give people access via, you know, just using this plugin. So there's all different things that you can use it for. Like I said, you've got the email address, you've got Aweber, you've got Hatchbuck, which I've never heard of, Mad Mimi, MailChimp, everything is there, and it's really easy to connect. All you need is your API key. You can add some styling to the button, and you can add some styling to margin, and you can even make it animate. So I can have this whole section kind of, you know, fade in if I want to. Let's see here. Let's press save. Now let me press done, publish changes, and it's come in. Now let me just show you what happens when I resize it. What you will notice is that the box resizes as well. You can see the inputs, they resize. So it really works quite nicely, the responsive features. And of course, unless the theme is responsive, Beaver is not really going to be that responsive from what I know. But it works really, really well. There isn't that much tweaking that you have to do. Now, say if I really like the layout of this page and I want to use this again, okay, I can go back to Page Builder and I can click on Templates, and no, I can't. What am I talking about? Let's click Cancel. I can click on Tools and I could save this page as a template. So I'm going to press here, the Save Template, and I'm going to call this About Page or something. About Page, and save it. And okay, press done, publish changes. Now I'm going to go to the theme, and here I can click on Page Builder again, and let's see, I can get rid of this block and click on Templates, and here you could see we've got the blank template and the About page. Now if you can't see this, it's probably because you're not connected here. So here we've got our home pages. These, by the way, are templates that Beaver Builder have already made that you can just use off the bat. And then you have your content pages again, which are templates which Beaver Builder have made. But I'm going to be using my own template. So I can click here where it says About Page. I'm going to click and replace. So I can replace it to the existing layout, or I can add it to the layout which is there, but I've already deleted it. So I'm going to click to replace the layout. And here we now have what it said on the About on the team section. So here I can just delete this and I can add another block, maybe like a testimonial block or something. Let me just add in a testimonial. That's a long one. Let me press save. Let's make a couple of them. And here we have a testimonial block, and this kind of works like a slider. So it's got like these little navigation blocks there. We click on general. We can, again, customize it some more. So we can make it compact. We can make it wide. Let's see what the wide one is. So the wide one is like that, where it's got the buttons at the bottom. And again, we can add, we can choose whether this gets displayed just on large devices, on large and medium devices. Now, for things like testimonials, I probably wouldn't have that rolling on a mobile site because nobody really, well, it really depends on the type of site that you have, on whether, you know, it's important that you have testimonials show up on mobile, but I might not want that. So I'm going to put down here large and medium devices only. So it's only going to show up on my desktop and on tablets, but it's not going to show up on mobile. And I'm going to press save. Now I can use a couple of these by going to add content, and I can click on row, and I can kind of drag in some row elements and drag these into the different rows there. So I can make, you know, quite a few of them if I want to. Now if I decide that I want to remove this, you would see that it just gracefully goes into 2 columns, and I don't have to worry about moving or resizing anything because it does it automatically for me, which is great. Okay, so that's just one section. Now, what I also wanted to talk to you about was the portfolio section. Right, so I've already got my custom, let me click here. I've already got my custom post type here of portfolio, and these are just random bits of information with a random image in it. Now, I can click here on the page builder, and let's get rid of this. I can click on advanced modules, and I can create a gallery. From this gallery, I can choose to create photos here. I think I'm actually doing it wrong, but you know what? I'm just going to use the gallery just for a second to show you the different features that it has. So this is a really nice gallery that we can use, and you can choose for it to open up on a light box or the photo link. Now, the photo link doesn't mean that you get to put in a custom link and it can redirect to that page, which would be friggin' great, but unfortunately it doesn't do that. It literally just opens up the attachment link, okay? And you can have it as a collage, you can have it as thumbs. So there's different sorry, I just cancelled that, but there's different galleries that you could use. Now, I'm not going to use a gallery plugin for this. That wasn't what I meant to use. What I wanted to use was here where it says posts. So I can grab this out, and here it would show me my blog posts. Okay, but I don't want to use blog posts. I want to use my projects. So I can click on content and click here where it says post type, change that to projects. And here I've got a list of all my projects here. I can change the layout so it could be a gallery, like this one here. And I can choose, or I can choose it to be a feed, which is this one here. Now, as you can see, the images are really blurry, but these are quite high-res images. And the reason why is because by default, where it's got featured image, it shows you the size that it's going to show your image at. So it says here 300 by 300, but this image is not 300 by 300, but it's scaling to that size. So if you've got a blurry image, I would suggest heading to where it says large, and that should change the, as you can see now, the image is much more clearer, and it's showing us the large version of this page. We can, of the image, sorry, we can actually choose whether we want it to be beside the text or above the text or whatever the case may be. I'm going to choose the gallery for now, and I'm going to keep it like that. Okay, so let's press done. Publish changes. So far we have actually updated 3 pages within our site really quickly just by using the Beaver builder, and we've hardly gone into Headway. Now it kind of makes you think, well, why the heck do I still need Headway, right? Well, why do I still need Headway if I can do that? Well, partly one of the reasons why I think you still need Headway is because you can still fine tune and control your design. You can still have that customization there, which you can't really get with Beaver Builder. Now, I'm not saying that what I'm about to do, you cannot do it ever in Beaver Builder, because currently I think they're updating the theme and they're adding all different features which allows you to have more control over stuff. But right now I'm going to show you what you can do in Headway, which is different from what Beaver Builder does. So as I was telling you about, if we click on here, we have a custom post type of project. Now if we go into the back of Headway, let me just click here where it says single. This governs all of the single pages. So this is your media page, your blog page, your post page, and your projects page. So right now everything looks the same because I haven't customized what the projects page is going to look like. So say if I click on single and here it says project, I can click here. Now here I've got my wrapper, which is my header, and my footer. Say if I no longer want the header to be on this page and I no longer want the footer to be on this page, I can press save, I can view the site, and as you can see now, our project just has our project on there. There's no header or footer or navigation or anything like that. Say if I decide now that I want the content of this area to be smaller than the rest of the site. So I'm going to give it this much content. I'm going to press save. I'm going to refresh. So now I've got a much smaller area for me to put my content, okay? Now say if I decide that I want the whole background to be black, right? I can click here where it says show all elements, show current. Oops, actually, let me click here where it says body, edit. And I can click here where it says customize for current layout. So now it's going to customize for everything under project. I can change this background to black and press save. Now if I press view the site, you could see that this is a background, but if I go to the home page, the about page, everywhere else is white. But if I click here, it's a completely different, it's a completely different site that we're on almost. Now, I'm not saying that this is what you need to do. All I'm trying to say is that every time I click on a portfolio page, it's always going to show me this, okay? So that is pretty cool, right? Now, I'm not saying that you should do what I've done. What I'm saying is that the control that you have with Headway is so much more unique than most of the other themes that I've seen. I've never really been able to see a theme that allows me to generate or customize a custom post type like this so acutely, and this is the reason why I really like using Headway and why I think it really works with, this is one of the reasons why I think it really works with Beaver Builder. So having said that, we're in our portfolio section. Let's play around with some ideas about what we can do with our portfolio. So let's click on Page Builder, and here I can just delete all of this stuff here, delete this stuff here. So we have this small section now to work with because I told Headway that I'm a bloody idiot and this is how I want it to look like. So say if I want like 2 columns here, and in this column I want a photo. Select photo and choose this. I can press save. Got our photo here, and in here I've got a text editor, and I want to put down something like style organic. I don't know what I'm writing right now. Year 2015, bold, type, and then I can just like have some text underneath that's going to describe about the type. It's way too much text for this area here, so let me just delete that, and I'm going to press save. And maybe underneath I might want some other modules, so I might want social buttons. I might want people to share this page. Okay, can center align it and press save. Now John from Headway, he's created a number of different modules that fit with Beaver Builder, and he's actually created a really good social media like sharing button, which I've actually got on my current site at thedesigncreative.co.uk. So if you check out my custom post type, my portfolio, you'll be able to see there that there is a really nice button there, but I'm not going to include that in this tutorial, but I'm just giving you an example of different things that you can do with it. So I'm not quite sure why that's not showing up, but let's publish the changes anyway. And here we have our tweet button, and I don't know where the rest of the buttons are, but if I press this, it would go to my tweet page, but right now it's not. Oh, I think I know why it's not working. I think I know why. It's because of my internet. So this is what I can say is now my my portfolio page. Again, I can save this layout as a template, and I can call this portfolio, press save, okay it, done, publish changes. Let me go back to my portfolio. Let's go to here. And of course, I can clone, go to tools, oops, go to templates and add the portfolio template. And here I can just change the meta. So I can call this non-organic or whatever, you know. I can't spell. I don't even care anymore if I can't spell. 2017, because we are so retro like that. So 2017, publish changes, and here we go. Okay, and that's just another customization. So again, like I said, it seems it's pretty much easy to customize the look and the layout of your theme and using Beaver Builder. Now, say, for instance, say if we have some tags in here, like say if I choose a heading, I want it to go above here, and I'm going to write something really stupid in here, like super advanced. I'm going to click on style, and I'm going to change the H to H1. As you can see, it doesn't really change the text here. And the reason, apart from a H5, and the reason why is because the text is being, the text color and the text size is being enforced by Headway. So what you would want to do is if I just press save, sorry, if I go back into super advanced, what you can do is you can click on here. Like for instance, if I want this particular heading to be completely different from all the rest of the pages, I can add an ID here or a class. So I'm going to call this class bigger or something. It's not very semantic, but never mind. I'm going to publish changes. And now I'm going to go into the Headway visual editor and into the design mode. And if I bring this up, sorry, let me just pull that out. I hate when that happens. Life of a Mac user. And I click here where it says bigger. I can target this H5. And let me just give it a color of red. As you can see, it changes to red. So I can add different classes and different IDs to each individual module and make the changes in here. So I can say text size 45 pixels. Is it text or font size? I always get it wrong. Font size. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to add an important tag on the back of it. Okay. Like I said, the H5 is controlled by Headway here. And this is probably one of the negative sides of Headway and Beaver Builder, is that the customization of text and the customization of headings can be a bit finicky when it comes to sizes and colors. So if you do come across this problem where you can't figure out why when you're in the Beaver Builder you're trying to change the size of it and it doesn't work, it's probably because the Headway is taking over, and vice versa. So if that is the case, just head over to the custom CSS editor here and just add in the class. So here I've got bigger. Classes always start with a dot. So it's dot bigger, and I added it as a H5. And I've changed the color to red and font size to 45 pixels. As you can tell, the font size did not change. And that was the reason why I added a color of red. So what I tend to do is I add something where I can see a dramatic change straight away, just to make sure that I've got the right element, that I'm targeting the right element. So I change the color to a red, but I don't really want it as a red. Who wants it red, right? Especially that red. So I know that that is targeting. So once I put in my font size and I don't see it change, I know that I need to add an important tag to it to make the change. So that's one of the negative sides of using Headway and Beaver Builder. But other than that, I can't really think of why these two can't marry together and, you know, make beautiful children. So I would definitely recommend using Headway whenever. I mean, I'm talking to a bunch of Headway users anyway. I don't have to try and convince anybody to use it. So, but if you're not a Headway user, like, check it out, please. Right. Now, I'm going to go back into the grid editor and I'm going to add back my navigation. Okay, so let me go here, add a wrapper, make it full width, open wrapper options. I'm going to mirror the header. Let's press save, view site, and now we have the header here. So let me go back to the portfolio, click here, and it's the same with all the rest of them. Now I'm not going to go through all the rest of them and change them. You pretty much can see what I've done here in terms of updating stuff. And as you can see, the title is slightly out away from the rest of the content. And you can just change that by getting rid of, do you remember I showed you where the margin and the padding was? So you can just change that by doing that. Getting rid of all that margin and padding. And also, if you go into Page Builder and you go into Tools and Edit Global Settings, you can do that automatically here. So I can just get rid of the padding here, and I can get rid of the margin here and press Save. And you will see now that the title and everything is just flushed to the right and the left. So I can press Done, Publish Changes, and that's going to be the same for all the other pages on the site. Okay, so let's have a look at the contact page. The contact page, another reason why I really like Beaver Builder is because Beaver Builder basically has I'm about to say million, but not really. It has a whole bunch of modules in there, which if we had to go out and buy all of these different modules as individual plugins, which we do, we do go out and buy contact plugins and slider plugins and testimonial plugins. Sooner or later, we have a WordPress site with like 1 million different plugins installed, and our site just gets slower. So what I really like about the Beaver Builder plugin is that you can just install one plugin and you've got loads of different features in there which you can use. And of course, what you can do at the end of it, once you've completed your project, you can, get rid of all the modules that you didn't use. So I can still go back into Page Builder here and say, actually, do you know what? I didn't use, where is it? Here we go, modules. I didn't use the gallery. I didn't use the HTML one. I didn't use the sidebar. I'm going to get rid of that and I'm going to save the module and just use that instead. Okay, so now we're back on the contact page. I kind of went into a rant and I had to stop myself. So I'm back here now. Right, so now we're on the contact page. I'm going to click on the Page Builder here. And like I was saying about having all these different modules and blocks and everything, the Beaver Builder has a contact form that we can use. Now, it is pretty basic. You're not going to have like an upload form or anything like that. But if you just want something basic, you don't want all the bells and whistles, then just use it, You can choose to show stuff and hide stuff and stuff like that. So you don't have that much customization over it. For instance, I can't change subject to a text area. I can only leave it as a text field, So, I still would be using Gravity Forms no matter what. Even if I didn't have WordPress, somehow I'd find a way to use Gravity Forms in my kitchen or whatever. I just bloody love that plugin. So it doesn't give you full, complete customization over it. But like I said, it's just if you want something super cool and super simple, you want to change. You can do like basic changes. So for instance, if I put an ID in here and I call this Superman, and I press save, press done, publish changes, I can go into Headway design. And let me just click out of here real quick. Come on. Yeah, that's what I want to do. If I click here, I can call it Superman input, and I can change the height to 45 pixels. Can I put like an important tag there? As you can see, it's changed the height. Has it changed it? Or am I just seeing things here? Do I use a class or an ID? Ugh, such a dick. Anyways, it was an ID, it wasn't a class. Why didn't you tell me that? I bet you're all sitting there saying, it's an ID, not a class, you idiot. So you can change the size of the input, which is cool. What else could you change on here? So there should be label. There should be a class label. So we can say, let's say Superman label. Let's change the color of it so I know that I'm hitting the right place. There we go. We can put like a letter spacing of like 4 pixels because we are just so radical out here. And we can lower the font size to about 10 pixels. So we can uppercase it. We can do some customization on it, of course. But like I said, we cannot add any fields to it, which is cool. It's cool if we can't add fields to it. But I mean, that looks pretty enough how it is, right? Now, one thing I wanted to talk about, which I find is very different compared to the Headway and the Beaver Builder theme, is that the Beaver Builder theme doesn't allow you to have multiple sidebars. So it only has one, which is a primary sidebar, and then it has like 4 footer widgets, right? I'm talking about widgets right now. So it only has about 4 footer widgets and then 1 sidebar. And you can create your own kind of sidebars by, say if I wanted this to be a 2 column, so I'm going to insert column after, make it be 2 column. So here it's got a module here called, or a heading called WordPress widgets, and I can sort of drag out whatever widgets I want on there. So I can call this one whatever, meta, and there's like a search one here, so I can add that, and so on and so forth, right? Now the spacing's a bit messed up right now because I took away all the spacing when I went into the global settings, right? But again, like I said, we can edit that by adding, so I wouldn't actually add any margin, I would just add padding. Oops. Click on column settings, advanced, and you could just add padding in here to give it a bit of spacing. But anyway, I'm getting anal about things now. So I can kind of, I can't replicate this sidebar. So if I wanted to have this same sidebar on the blog page, I can't replicate it. Now I hear some Beaver Builder people saying, yeah, but you could just put them in the primary side. You could just put them in the primary sidebar, which Beaver Builder already makes for you. Well, yeah, we can do, but unfortunately that sidebar is being used up by another thing. So I'm using it on my home page, and that's completely different from what I want on my contact page. So again, one of the really cool things about Headway is that I can get rid of this sidebar here. I can get rid of this box. I can make it full width, publish changes. I can go into Headway. I'm on the actual contact page because it says currently editing contact. Customize the current layout, change it to the single layout, And I could just move this here, drag in another box, create this as a widget area, call this secondary widget, press save. And now when I view the site, I have my individual widget section here, and I can add whatever plugins I want in my secondary widget. So I'm going to add back the meta and the search form. Okay. So let's say we're going to call this search, and we're just going to call this meta for the time being. Now, I'm using the primary, just imagine I'm using the primary widget area on this page somewhere. I've got my about page here, and I'm thinking, I could really use the secondary widget on this page. I don't need to go into Headway and create another look for this page. I don't even have to create a template. I can just go into Page Builder, and I can click here, edit column. I can insert another column after this, and then I can click on advanced modules, scroll down to sidebar, drag that in, and you will see that our secondary widget is there. So now I could use that secondary widget wherever I want. Now you can go crazy with this. You can actually make a page called widgets, right? Say if I make a page called widgets. Now with this page, I don't want it to be picked up by Google or anything at all. So within my, because I'm using Headway, I have this amazing option here. I've got SEO on the page, which I don't think Beaver Builder has at the moment. But I can press here to no index this page and no follow and all the rest of them. I can click it all down so then this doesn't get indexed. And I can publish this page. I can open this page in Visual Editor, and I can have like 1 million widgets in this area. Doesn't really matter about the size or anything like that, I don't think. Okay, so I can have loads of widgets in here. And I can just call these widgets like first widget, second widget, third widget, fourth widget, etc., etc. And again, I can go into the widgets area, and now I've got all my widgets here, and I can just place them wherever I want using the Beaver Builder. So it's pretty much simple. It's really easy to do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I may have missed. I don't really think there is, apart from the fact that if I wanted to, if I was building this, which I'm building this on a local install right now. If I wanted to move this whole website onto my live domain, there are a number of different ways that I can do this. Now, I can just export the layout. So I can export the layout via templates and Headway. Let's export that. That's gone. And for the actual Beaver Builder layout, all I need to do is just export my XML file from here. Okay. And I've got here my custom post type, which is all projects. Now that is not going to move over. But if you're using the custom post type UI, you can actually export that from here. So that's pretty cool. If you're using a child theme, you can grab let's have a look. Where is it? You can click on Get Code, and you can copy this into a functions PHP file and delete this custom post type UI plugin, and just paste this code in your child theme, and it will register no matter where you go. So you can just export the child theme if you want to. Now that's a long way of exporting your stuff. I would basically say to you the best way to export your website is, I'm not connected to the internet right now, as I told you before, but you can download something like Duplicator. And Duplicator has got a pro version now, thank God. I've been waiting for this pro version forever, which you can use to transfer your site from one place to another. Also, you can use WP Clone. Some people have problems using WP Clone, but I haven't really had any major problems unless the site is super, super big. And what you will notice is that anything that you create with Headway and Beaver Builder, unless your images are super big, you're not really going to have any problems with speed or anything like that. Once you've added your cache plugin, once you've optimized your images, you know, as long as you're not uploading 5,000 pixel images, like, you should be cool. I don't see any lag time using Beaver Builder. I kind of think it works pretty fast. It's pretty neat. You just need to get used to it. So hopefully this tutorial has shown you a little bit about how to work your way around it. And, you know, you're not really spending that much time in Headway. I know people are like, well, you know, it's not so cool that you can't spend that much time in Headway. I get it. But the fact that you can customize so much more with Headway is great. For instance, there's another feature I didn't show you, which was the blog feature. Now, in Beaver Builder, you can't customize the blog page. I'm not even joking, guys. You cannot customize the blog page at all. But you can with Headway. So if I choose, let's say we're in the blog index now, and I go to single. If I choose to have a sidebar in here, let's call this widget area, and let's mimic the, where is it? Mirror the secondary widget block. Let's press save. Let's view site. Okay, so we've got our secondary widget block here. But say if I want my, I'm not quite sure why my image is not showing up here. That's weird. Oh no, it's not weird. I know why it's not weird. Because if I get rid of this content block and add a new one, and I'm not going to mess around with any of the options here, I'm just going to press save. If I refresh, there is our images. Now we have our images on the left, but I don't want my images on the left. I want my images above the title. Let's press save, can refresh. Our images are now above the title. But I don't want my blog to be like this. I'm now taking the piss because I know that Beaver Builder theme people can't actually do this. But if you go to display, you can enable a column layout and you can have 3 columns. I can press save, refresh, and now I've got 3 columns of stuff there, you know. But say if I wanted just 3, if I wanted 3 on the top and I wanted 2 at the bottom, okay, well, we can do that. That's pretty easy. We can go into the mode, change the custom query, go to query filters, and we could say we only want 2 on the top. Let's say 2, because 3 is a bit weird on the top with that small space. So we're having 2 posts, and we're going to change the display to 2 in a row. So let's press save and refresh. Oh, I know why it's showing that, because I have a featured post here. So I want to get rid of this, put that on 0 and refresh. So we have 2 on the top. Let me get rid of this widgets post. There shouldn't even be a widgets post. It should have been a widgets page, but never mind. Blog. So we got 2 on the top here. And say if we wanted just 2 with no text, we can change it so it says hide entry content. Press save, refresh. So now we've just got 2 images, we can get rid of this meta because it's just causing too much mess. We can get rid of the meta here. Refresh. So now we've got our 2 images, and now let's add the rest of the blog posts underneath. So I can create another content block, but this time where I'm going to press display, I am going to, actually I'm going to press mode, change it to custom query, query filters, and here where it says offset, I'm going to make sure it's on this first one, it's on 2. So let me press save, and let me also go to display where it says featured post. I'm going to get rid of that as well. And I'm also going to make sure the images are on the top of the title. Let's press save, over here, refresh. So now we've got 2 on the top and we've got these underneath it. You see, so we can fine tune our blog page, whereas you can't do that with the Beaver Builder theme currently, unfortunately. But like I said, the customization is very intricate with Headway, hence why I think it's a good idea to mix both of them together. And the same with Divi as well. It's such a good idea to mix Divi and Headway together because of the different features that you can have. So to me, Beaver Builder is like the, you know, the missing manual. Not the missing manual because, you know, Headway is in a league of its own, but it's like the missing blocks. Let's say the missing blocks of Headway. And to be honest, I'm not 100% sure how I would feel about having Headway having all of those features built inside of its core. I think it may slow things down. I think it may make it buggy. The fact that it's separate, it's separated the we've separated the functionality away from the actual theme. I think it's WordPress like, you know, it's sort of like how it's supposed to be. So I'm kind of happy with how everything is right now. I'm not 100% happy with the look of the website, but I hope that you have a fair idea about how to use Headway, why Headway kind of is beneficial to use it with the Beaver Builder. And if you're a Beaver Builder user and you've never used Headway, I hope you're able to see why using Headway with Beaver does have its benefits. So if you have any questions or anything just doesn't make sense, I know that this tutorial was pretty much all over the place because it's pretty long and I had to explain a lot of stuff, so I didn't really script anything. I just kind of, you know, freestyled it. So I'm sorry that this doesn't sound as structured as it should do, but I just wanted you to get a rough idea about how everything does work. So like I said, if you've got any questions, please leave them in the link below. Please remember to sign up to Headway theme users on Facebook, and if you have any questions, you can of course leave them in the group and someone would answer. And any links that you need is going to be down below. And of course, my website is www.designcreative.co.uk. So thank you for tuning in. Subscribe if you can, and I will see you next time.